And it is 10 a.m., so we'll move on to our first team of the day. The Kennesaw State Owls joining us, head coach Brian Bohannon, running back Isaac Foster, the preseason offensive player of the year for the spring. Good morning, Coach. Good morning, Isaac. We'll go ahead and get started. Coach, we'll let you begin. Let's open it up, get your thoughts on how the preseason preparations are going, and just how different it is preparing for a season during the winter.
Thanks, Mark, and appreciate everybody being on today. And yes, we're in a unique time to say the least. But I tell you, I think our kids made the decision in August that we were playing for a championship in the spring, and we're in it now. I think we're on day 11, day 12, somewhere in that range. I can't even keep up with it right now. But having preseason, we're in school, which is very different from a normal preseason. Obviously, we're in a different time of the year, which you can look at in a lot of different ways. We don't have to deal with the heat right now. If you want to really look at some positive things that we don't have to worry about. But it is very different. It's taken a little bit for us to get adjusted. It probably honestly took me 3 to 4 days into our spring camp to kind of get adjusted to the routine, which is not very routine oriented. We're doing a lot of different things. We're trying to meet hybrid. One day you're on Zoom, one day you're not. It's just kind of a unique deal to try to maximize the opportunity to get ready to go play. So it's definitely been different. I think it's gotten better as we've gone, and we're definitely excited about the opportunity to play. I've told our guys, and we haven't played a game since December of 2019, and just to have the opportunity to run out of the tunnel and go play football again, I know for me and for our kids is exciting. Now, in the same token, there's a huge commitment going on with our football team right now, and it's not just a commitment to excellence on the field and doing things in a championship manner, but it's more so off the field right now. And there's a lot of sacrifices you have to make in order to work your way through a pandemic. You can't do the things you normally like to do, and I think there's a huge commitment and huge sacrifice, and I know it's going on in a lot of places right now. And I think that's very unique and challenging in itself, that there's going to be a lot of sacrifices for our team in order to go do the things we want to do. So, yeah, there's a lot going on. There's no question. But we're excited about the opportunity to get ready to play. We're several weeks away from our first game, and shoot, we couldn't be more excited about the opportunity to run out of the tunnel and a chance to play football. It's been a long time, and we're definitely looking forward to it. So, I guess Mark will kind of open it up for questions from there.
Thanks, Coach. We're actually going to get some quick thoughts from Isaac first, and then we'll take questions. Isaac, first off, congratulations on your preseason honor. Obviously, for you in particular, coming off of a significant injury, just, share your thoughts on just how much you're excited to be back out there with your teammates.
First off, thanks for having me. It's been a while since I've played. I'm just excited to get back out there. We have great trainers, and I've had a good rehab, so I'm really excited. I feel healthy. I'm ready to go play the spring.
All right, thank you. We'll take questions for Kennesaw State, both Coach Bohannon and Isaac Foster. Please enter your name in the queue for questions for either of our guests. We'll take them as they come in. Isaac, we'll kind of continue with you. How much has the extended offseason helped in your recovery, getting ready for the spring season?
Yeah, so I think this fall, not playing this fall, obviously we wanted to. With the pandemic going on, it's kind of a crusher, but it honestly gave me more time to heal and let everything more time preparation because it's been a while since I played. So like I said, I had a good rehab, and I'm just excited to play this spring. Yeah.
Coach, for you, you touched on it a little bit, but just what are some of the differences that you've had to do for this preseason? What were some of those concerns as well that you've had to address when preparing your team?
Well, I think the big thing we've missed and is the ability to do team things. And I think that's the one thing that's been a bit of a struggle is to do things together as a team. You just really can't right now. We didn't have camp. We're in school. So it's just practice in the afternoon. Normally you got 2 weeks of really nothing but football and team. I tell our guys every year it's about ball and team during camp. We didn't really have that. So we're working our way through that a little bit. And then the biggest, I mean, the weather, that time of year, I mean, listen, you're going to have to play in that at some point in time or another. We don't really get caught up in that a ton. It's different. But like I said, we don't have to worry about the heat, which really has been a huge benefit. We've been able to probably keep guys out there a little better, not having to navigate that like you normally would in August. The big thing has just been the commitment to the off the field. I think that's what that is the biggest difference. I think for FCS football, I think we gained a huge advantage of learning and watching what all went on in the fall. And I don't know that it's changed completely, but I think understanding how we go about our business and the things that we have to do, I think we have learned a lot. Now that's may or may not change what happens, but I do think we've learned a lot. And I know I have personally, and hopefully it'll help us to get through the season. I think that was a huge advantage of of moving to the spring, is just being able to watch and learn, to help us going into this unique spring season.
All right, we do have a few questions. The first one is from Henry Queen. Go ahead, Henry.
Thank you for doing this, Brian. I don't think I've met a coach who enjoys talking about preseason rankings, but is there a part of you that relishes being second in this year's preseason rankings?
Yeah. If you want to know the truth, it's kind of unique. I'm not a big preseason ranking guy. I don't really put a lot of stock in all that stuff because how you finish is what we set out to do here. But obviously Mama's done a great job. And Coach Callahan's is about as good as you'll find in the business. And congrats to them on their preseason ranking. They deserve it. They've done a great job. And obviously, we came here at Kennesaw State to win championships. So, that's our goal, and that's what we'll continue to do moving forward. And that's always going to be our goal. So we're looking forward to the opportunity to play football and opportunity to compete for a championship.
Thank you.
Thank you, Henry. And next is Charles Odom from the Associated Press. Go ahead, Charles.
Hey, Coach, good to see you.
Good morning.
Good morning. You mentioned earlier that you guys made the decision in August to play a spring schedule, but I imagine in August you were anticipating, hoping, praying that things would be different in February than they are. How did you reassess when other schools were backing out of a spring? How did you reassess the decision to commit again to a spring schedule, and did you enlist player feedback on that?
Our football team made the decision to play this spring. I guided them with information. I sat down with everybody. We have a player committee here, which represents each position group. And we sat down in August and we had a really lengthy discussion about the opportunity to possibly play some games in the fall, about playing in the spring, pro and con it. And then each group, each leader in each position group went back to their group and basically got feedback and somewhat voted on what they wanted to do. So this decision was made by our football team. I gave them all the information. Whatever they want to do is what I wanted to do. I'm good with it. We would have done whatever we need to. We made the decision to compete in the spring because the goals here are to compete for championships, and the fall did not include that. And since day one, that's what we came here for. And our football team said, Coach, that's what we're here for. We want to go prepare in the fall to compete for a championship in the spring. I was proud of the way they handled it. It's not easy. And yes, we hope things will be different. I do think they're a little different now. We're still in a pandemic. I think we've learned a lot more. There are vaccines out there. So that though it hasn't completely changed, I do think we are in a little different place. We're still going to have to do the things necessary to compete. But that was a team decision, and I was really proud of the way they handled all that. we had a lot of options and opportunities, but they all sat down and communicated, and here we are today, and this is what we wanted to do, and we're going to go do it.
If I could follow up with Isaac on that, can I just ask you about how those deliberations went with the player leadership committees?
Yeah, they went good. The main point that was brought up during those meetings is, our goals, and which Coach hit on, is, to win championships. And this spring is going to give us an opportunity to compete in the Big South and, hopefully a national championship. So those were the main points. And then obviously with the pandemic going on, player safety and, protecting our families and everything. But the main focus was having the opportunity to play in the spring for championships.
Charles, anything further? All right. Next questions are from Marcel Porto. Go ahead, Marcel.
Thank you, Mark. Brian, what about the defensive unit and returning all those starters, including Armstrong, the preseason player of the year? How's that unit been looking through training camp?
Well, we do have a lot of guys back, and and Bryson, obviously, I wish we could keep him about 5 more years. I mean, he's been an unbelievable player, but more importantly, he's an unbelievable kid. Bryson's, you wouldn't even know he's out there. He's quiet. He doesn't say a lot, but he's a heck of a football player. But we got a lot of guys that have played, so we're trying to continue to elevate their game. We're also trying to establish depth at the same time. Coach Verpel, we have a new defensive coordinator. Awful excited about him. He was on staff last time we were actually playing, and he's doing a great job of bringing this group together. Things have been good. I mean, we still got a lot of work to do as a team to get to where we want to be, but that's part of being in the preseason, as we're continuing to work to get to where we need to be. But excited about that group. There is a lot of guys that have played that can run, athletic. I think we're continuing to establish depth and then, put ourselves in position to be successful.
Thank you.
We're taking questions for Kennesaw State head coach Brian Bohannon and running back Isaac Foster. So please enter your name in the queue and we'll get to those as they come in. And we do have a question for Isaac from Henry Queen. Go ahead, Henry.
Hey, Isaac. So Coach mentioned the difficulty of having like team camaraderie, like meetings or extracurricular activities. How has the coaching staff engaged with y'all last fall and in the spring?
Like Coach said, it's been difficult because we missed out on a lot of that stuff, not having a camp. But we're trying to get some things together, with everybody socially distanced and everything. So, and right now we're glad we're having the hybrid meetings and stuff. We're getting back in the office and getting to see some guys in the office that we hadn't got to see in a while. So yeah, we're trying to get some things together, everything, keeping it safe. But as far as everything right now, we're still working on that.
And then follow up, even though like the season's weird and everything like that, and your conversations with your like fellow recruiting classmates, like I know you redshirted, but the seniors in this season, what does it mean to them to be able to compete?
I think for every season for the seniors, they want to end strong, and like every season for us, our goals are the same, and we want to compete for a national championship. Starts out with the Big South championship, so those conversations are pretty much the same every year, but we got some special senior classmen, and we want to send them out the right way.
Thank you.
Thank you, Henry. And Isaac, I've got one for you, just for you personally. What are you looking forward to the most in that first game back for you?
just running out of the tunnel and strapping the cleats on and playing in a live game. It's been a while for me. Yeah, I feel good. I'm healthy right now, so I'm just excited to play.
And which of your teammates are you personally looking forward to watching the most this spring? Who do you in your mind has improved the most from 2019?
Has improved the most? That's a hard question because, you know, we got some really great guys, but I love, you know, watching our O-lineman work, you know, and, you know, the preseason award, I just saw that this morning. For me, I think that award really goes to our O-lineman because, you know, you can see it in almost every touchdown for me. The O-linemen are right there with me running in the end zone. So I think that award really should go to them, those guys, and I'm really excited to see what they can do this season.
And Coach, going back to you, is there any correlation to what this past few months have been to what the first year of the program where you didn't have any games, just practices? And is there anything that you brought over from that in preparing for this spring season?
I've been asked that a few times, and I think there may be, you know, when you look at it, there may be some things you can compare to, but it was just really different, you know, and kind of navigating, you know, how we went about that. But, you know, there's some things we took from then. I think the big thing, you know, we've tried to do is, you know, when we made the decision to go to the spring, we just flipped semesters. So the fall became the spring for us. We had spring ball, which was then fall ball. And we took the mode of what we normally do in the spring and we did it in the fall. And then, you know, the other thing we've tried to do is not tried, we're doing it is, you know, from the beginning of fall ball, we don't practice as long. We've tried to get ahead of some things so that our kids can be in the best position to be successful for the long haul. And so we've really tried to stay ahead of that. So we're really not practicing as long as we used to. Even in this preseason camp, we probably have more days off than we normally would have to try to maximize everything we can to get ready to go, because we have had a lot of practices, you know, in a row. So I do think there's some things we learned, you know, in that first year, though this is really different, but we did learn some things about how to navigate things at this time. So I think we got a good plan, but you're in a pandemic, so you know what I mean? Anything you plan's got a big eraser on the end of it, and you adapt and adjust and you just keep moving forward. And I think we understand that's where we are, and we're going to keep doing that.
We still have a few more minutes with both Coach Brian Bohannon and Isaac Foster. So if you have any questions for our two guests, please enter your name in the chat box. Coach, I've got another one for you, more of you know, your team personnel from the fall till now. Who has kind of solidified themselves as starters in positions where you were unsure about going into the fall season?
Ooh, I'd have to sit and look at a depth chart to go through. And honestly, we're in a little bit of ebb and flow, a little bit of some of what we're doing right now. And I prefer to keep our kids very uncomfortable if possible, as much as I can. And, you know, so that they'll continue to work to be the best version of themselves they can be. But I think we got a lot of guys, you know, when you talked about, I was asked a question earlier about a lot of the defensive guys are back. We do have a good group of kids that have played for us as well that are back. You know, Tommy Bryant at quarterback and Jonathan Murphy came in when he got hurt late in the year. You know, having Isaac back and Shaq Terry, guys that have played a lot of football for us. You know, that offensive line group that Isaac referred to, a lot of those guys were really young going into the 19 season, and hopefully they'll continue to trend upwards and continue to improve, to get better, to get ready to go. So, and defensively, I think establishing some depth and consistency, you know, and finding some, you know, some depth on the back end and at linebacker probably is really important. But you know, it's hard to pick. I always scared of putting out their names because I forget somebody, or, you know, I didn't talk about somebody. And you know, as a group, as a team right now, we're working through preseason camp. It's a bit of a grind right now, and I think everybody's, you know, we're dialing in, and we'll break camp Saturday, and then get into you know, true game preparations starting next Monday as we get ready for the opener. So a lot going on right now, but it's good stuff, man. Hey, I'd rather be out there practicing with a mask on than not practicing at all. I can tell you that.
All right, Coach, thank you. We're not seeing any more questions for either you or Isaac. So we'll go ahead and let you go. Is there anything else you'd like to say before we wrap up?
Yeah, I'd just like to say to Kyle in the Big South, the leadership of this conference and the commitment to playing football this spring has been awesome. Kyle's leadership and the leadership of the conference has been phenomenal. And I know for me, I'm very appreciative of that. There's been a lot of ebb and flow and things going on, and it's been tough, but the leadership has been really awesome, and we're very appreciative of that.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate those kind words and your commitment to Big South football into the spring season. And we wish you all the luck, you and Isaac, this coming season.
Thanks, Mark.
All right, thank you all. We'll that wraps up our time with Kennesaw State. We will be back in 10 minutes with Gardner Webb, so please stand by, and we will resume in 10.